Ladies and gentlemen, pigs and goats, welcome to the Reverse Falls question and answers video. I am your host for today's Q&A, the Xbox Fridge. I am a voice actor for the game. However, I am not allowed to disclose this with you right now, but I will be giving out little teeny tiny hints throughout this entire session. So, let us bring out our participants for today's Q&A, starting off with Aki.
Hello, I'm Aki. I play Pacifica. That's all you need to know about me. Yeah.
Okay. Ethan?
Hello. I'm Ethan. I play Dipper, and I'm really excited to be here.
Thank you. And for our voice director, Rune.
Hi, I'm Rune, and I'm the voice director, so I organize all the voices.
Morgan.
Hello, I'm Morgan, and not only am I the music director, I play the alcoholic father of Gideon, Bud, and also the narrator.
And Greg.
Yo, I'm Greg. I do general writing, directing. It's work.
Oh, right. So, for everyone, so what have you been doing so far for this project?
Ooh, big question. I guess I can start. For this project, I've been basically managing the writing team, ensuring that we have a cohesive story going forward, and that the different teams are communicating with the writers, and that we make sure that the ideas we have are sort of on the same level, or at least try to. It's not always super easy.
In the music department, it's a lot of sound design, really. Figuring out where to add things or how to make things more ambient for the player. But it's coming along nicely, as well as adding in voices.
For voice acting, I mostly just give out the lines. The voice actors do a really good job. Then I usually cut them and give them to everybody else so they can put them in the game.
I voice act Pacifica in the game, and I just record lines and send them to the voice acting director. Yeah.
I have yet to record lines, but I've been prepping for when I eventually do it.
Oh, that's great. But before we begin today's question and answers video, I just want to give a big ol' thanks to Charlotte for her artwork for today. Thank you. Now, let us move on to the questions for our three directors. Starting off with, this is probably a question that you get a lot, but how is the game coming along?
Who wants to start with that one?
I think it's a difficult position to say how is it coming along, because there's always more you want to add to it, but there's also things have been getting done. And it's great to see it coming together as it does.
There's a lot of moving parts, so it kind of depends on what part you're in.
Oh, absolutely. I guess we have chapter 1 written. We have chapter 2 basically written, although it needs a bit of editing work, a lot of editing work. Chapter 3 is sort of a step in between the major overarching narrative, so there are multiple smaller chapters in it, and those are coming along well enough. So it's churning.
All right. Great. Now, moving on. Is there an estimate release date for Chapter 1?
That's the hard one.
Silence speaks volumes.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
We were working on it. We don't really have a specific, it's definitely gonna be by then, but we do want it to come, as Helvest put it, quote unquote soon.
Soon can mean a lot of things, but yes, soon.
Yeah, soon TM. The best time.
let's just say that it will probably be ready when it's actually ready.
Yeah.
All right.
90% sure this year.
Good to know. Good to know. Okay. Now, this is probably going to be a bit of a needy question, but I'm going to say the entire thing, so if you don't mind. I need to, and they literally mean need to, know if Gravity Falls characters will be connected to the Reverse Falls story and be part of it like an alternate reality meets main reality type of thing, or if it's just going to be Reverse Fall characters and their story. I think that what they're trying to say is that the main universe and the alternate universe characters kind of like going together in a way, if that makes any sense.
Right. Who dear? That's a hard one to unpack. There, to avoid going into like spoiler territory and absolutes and anything like that, we've changed up how we are publishing the story a fair few times throughout development because, as you might imagine, with a project like this, there are a lot of people that come and join, and then there's a lot of people that leave, and then we have all kinds of different starting points and plans that like get shot up and then get crashed, and then, oh, this sounds like a good idea, maybe we'll try this, so on and so forth. One of those early ideas was like a massively branching story, which that's incredibly ambitious, and we started out with plans to follow in that direction, which means multiple endings were planned, or at least vaguely in a nebulous cloud of ideas put down. Currently, we are following one of those plans and trying to get to like at least one full storyline all the way through the game. And then we might add more later if we have the will at that distant point in the future. That current path does not fully omit for a lot of Reverse Falls to Gravity Falls crossover-y stuff. We're probably just going to be sticking with the Reverse Falls characters and taking their story all the way through to the end. Then maybe later we'll add more, maybe we'll add some like bonuses or hidden content or meta stuff. We'll see, honestly. But as it stands, they are separate. And I hope you get to enjoy the story.
Great. All right, let's segue to the next question. How in the world did this go from a Mike Inel sketch to an actual project? I'd just like to know when you guys realized it stopped being a joke and became real.
I joined like later on, so I really don't.
Anybody
know
here
what to say.
beside me here from the start?
Me too. I only joined more recently.
Right. I will try to get my thoughts together. Can you guys share like how y'all ended up joining this whilst I do that?
Of course. I accidentally found the game and I thought it was super cool. So when I joined the Discord and found out they needed some help, I asked if I could. And through processes, I got to be the director of voice actors.
There was some word of mouth to ears, and it got an artist to ask me to join the team early on. I'm not sure if Chapter 0 was already released, but I was just a musician, so it was another resource waiting for stuff to do. Long time later, I was asked if I'd like to do more as somebody who knows music.
I could say how I found the project, so sure. I had always kind of like known about this project when the first trailer came out. I just didn't realize that it was like, I thought it was still going forward. I didn't know it needed more people. So I joined the Discord server, and I kind of just was like, oh, I want to voice act in this project. I don't really care who I get. And I got Pacifica, so that's fun.
Ethan, you wanna add something?
For sure. In all honesty, I'm pretty new to the project. I just discovered it last year. I heard about it before, seen the trailer videos, but that was like a long time ago, so sort of back of the mind stuff. And then I sort of stumbled upon, there was a casting call for voice actors, and because of how interested I was in the project, I just applied for everything I possibly could, hoping to be involved in some capacity. And then I was really excited and then grateful to be able to do Dipper.
I mean, yeah, that's great. I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat with you. Like, I just stumbled across the casting call online and just put an audition, and here we are, right?
Everyone saw the trailer 5 years ago, I assume. Or, well, at some point between 5 years ago and now. Back way when Molochitis started out poking around in the Gravity Falls, Reverse Falls Reddit threads, and basically asked around, hey, are there people interested in actually turning this into a legit game? They came across Helvest and some other people like Wraither and the Cat, and they basically began putting together a very quick demo. I think the demo is still available up on Game Jolt, and the dialogue for that one was thrown together by Helvest, I believe, and very quickly they just put something out there to like see, okay, can we build something with this? From there, I joined to help with proofreading and like doing editing and making sure that the English came across well, and helping to translate it into 4 other languages. And then we basically just began cobbling things together. By some strange twist of fate, I ended up assigned the writing director title on accident, I think, or temporarily, and I've just been stuck with it since. We sort of just kept going, and the ball just kept rolling and rolling and rolling, and eventually we came here. It's a little bit of an accident that happened in a Discord server. That's sort of how it came to be.
Well, sometimes the best things can be just a little unexpected. Well, okay, so let's move on to next question here. What for the directors? What is your favorite part in working the game?
I like how none of us want to start.
I always feel like I'm gonna interrupt.
Me too. My part, even though I'm like a director, it's actually pretty small. But I really like seeing the voices end up being like in the demo that we directors get to see, and after everyone put it together, it's really cool to like hear them actually have a conversation instead of just the individual lines. So I think that's my favorite part.
I think I would definitely have to agree. It's not exactly the position that I'm working from that I get to have the best part of it. It's seeing the communication and the dedication to the art, where we want things to sound better. Can we change it this way, or really just add something we personally have ideas for on the team?
For me, I guess it's just getting to read and see and like interact with everybody on the team. I personally don't do a lot of the writing, as I don't feel particularly confident in it. So instead, I get to like help direct answer question function as a sort of information well for like what came before and seeing how it's all grown into what it is now. And just seeing and remembering and watching everybody around the the team just putting so much effort into something that I've followed for so long. That's probably the most exciting bit.
Alright. Next question. Which game engine will Reverse Falls be developed on?
Oof. We don't have Helvest here. That's a hard one to answer.
Yeah.
Oh.
Where's my coding director when I need him?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure currently we're working on it being browser-based. So basically anything that can have a web browser will let you play the game. I think we were originally poking around in Unity, but development is insanely hard and slow, especially when it's a volunteer project and everybody's busy with their own lives. So we're trying to like release smaller bits, and then maybe eventually we'll cobble it together into a larger thing to release.
Alright, that makes sense. Okay. Will Reverse Falls have a unique branch of endings dependent on our choices? If so, does this mean there will be good or bad endings? Or will it all end in the same scenario?
That seems to be a lot of questions for the writing director.
Yay!
I don't. This is not on me. I promise you. These feel like they're just directed to you. Honestly.
Fortunately, some of these have come up before.
Yeah.
You mentioned it a little bit.
As I mentioned before, we originally planned for a lovely, large, super branching thing. But as it stands, since like development time is so slow and we really want to get something out to you guys, we've tried to consolidate it into one single branch that just heads all the way through. In the writing team, we're like making little bits of like tiny little notes of, okay, here's a hook for a divergent path. We have a tree planned out, and there's more stuff, but I don't know if we will ever get around to it. We might do it when we like release full chapters or the entire thing. But currently, no. We'll just one nice. There will be slight divergences depending on what you do, but they'll be contained inside the same chapter. Although there are some ideas about how we might have things carry over. We'll see if we manage to get more branching stuff in. But as it stands, we'll try and get you as linear narrative as reasonable while still having choice impacts some narrative moments. Blah. Sorry, I'm very verbose.
Yeah, no worry. I mean, like, you've got like a bunch of questions down your belt right now, so.
Yeah.
Alright. This will be the final question for the directors. We'll just need to move on to the VAs real soon. This will be a bit of a lengthy one right now. This is like a bit of like a sing of appraisal right here for the person who put this question in. So excited about this being a thing. I got a lot of questions. I am very excited for this Q&A. I don't expect you to answer them all or even at all, just asking them, because I am excited for this game, and if any questions do get answered, that would be awesome. Also excited to see other people's questions and this video in general. So I am going to get to asking. To the Giddy Fresh team, I just want to ask about your general progress on the visual novel, next chapters, and or asset gathering. I also just want to ask the Giddy Fresh team how they go about twisting the Gravity Falls characters as their now reverse selves. Bit of a lengthy one right there. I think this is also directed to the writing director again. Yikes.
Well, actually, there's some stuff there for voice actors and
Yeah.
music stuff, because you guys do a bit of the interpreting of what the characters are like.
And we do need assets.
And we do need so
Yes.
many assets.
If you're willing to volunteer, please do.
I think one of the major hang-ups right now is just art. It is a visual novel. And coders. Good God, transcoding. So slow. As for like progress with chapters and stuff, I did mention that you're like on chapter 3 out of 10 of the main planned line. Yeah. We have a lot of stuff written. I think Helvest calculated that we have enough stuff to publish, what is it, every 2 weeks for an entire year? Something like that.
If we're all very productive, yes.
If we're all magically very productive and suddenly have all of the assets available and the transcoding is done like that.
We all have the free time to do all of these things.
Oh, yeah.
Fortunately, in sound design, it's a little bit like catching feathers on one side, but unfortunately, the other side is bowling balls. When we have sound effects, those are things that we can, as we get the idea, find a vast library of so many different similar sounds, and you can take your pick, which can be a little time consuming if you're into it. And then on the other side, creating entire songs from thin air is something going back and forth between musicians and really having the inspiration for it. So the assets come along.
With the voice acting, most of the main characters have been cast, of course, but we have so many like side characters that only have a few lines each. So even though we do have a lot of people who have auditioned, I would love for more people to join so that we have a very range of voices to use. That would be very nice.
As for the whole of like twisting Gravity Falls characters into Reverse Falls characters, we look a lot at the existing Reverse Falls community, and then like pick and choose. Oh, hey, this bit is interesting. Oh, this thing looks cool, and then we just try and make a character that fits the narrative that we're trying to tell, and go from there.
Yeah. And with I'm usually the one who has to interpret what the writers send for the characters, including the voice actors themselves. So it's usually just like writing. The writers make a really good point to show like how they might act or sound. So I just sort of like add a little bit more details about where there might be a pause, or have maybe a bit more happy than usual if it comes to Pacifica. She's a very bubbly person. And then with like Gideon, we have him be sort of more depressed.
Well, thank you, directors, for answering the questions that I have gave you. Now, let's move on to the VAs. For Pacifica, you are new to town. What do you think of it and its citizens so far? How do you think the town is threatening you guys so far? Am I reading that correctly? Yes, I am, I think.
I believe Gideon's more new to the town than... do you want me to answer Pacifica? I'll just answer Pacifica. I think Gideon's more new to the town than I am, because I do show him around and stuff, but I really like the town. Honestly, just some of the people aren't great.
Alright. And for Dipper, how do you think of the new people in town? Also, how is your relationship with your sister, Mabel?
Well, I'm a huge fan of new people coming to town, more new friends, brightens things up a little bit. But the relationship of my sister and I would say we're quite close as most siblings are, but I'm not one to show and tell too much. Just enough.
Well, that's great. Now for Pacifica, who is your favorite person in Reverse Falls so far?
Well, I don't have a lot of friends in Reverse Falls, so I'd probably say Gideon.
Okay. Dipper, now if you don't mind, I will call you Mason for this one bit. What do you think of Will Cipher?
Well, I do have lots of... I don't want to boast or anything, right? I consider myself a bit humble, but, it is a friend of mine. We like to play a lot, like, my sister and I love to play a lot of games. Sorry, I don't want to say at, but with, sometimes friend groups tease a little bit, so it's all in good fun.
That's understandable. Now, this is gonna be a bit of an insult to you, Dipper. This one person called you nerd. Not even a nerd, just nerd.
Oh. To be quite honest, I'm appalled that someone would call me this or, even insult me. I would hope to have the decency to, be nice to everyone, but sure, I might be a bit smart, cunning, nice with my words, but definitely not one of those nerds, that's for sure.
Beautifully put. Pacifica, is there a place you would really like to visit?
I don't have a specific place, but if I could go anywhere, it's with a lot of adventure. I don't know. It's a hard question. Let me think. Yeah, I don't know. That's a hard question. Sorry.
There's no worries. So, Dipper, you need to answer this question for your sister here. Do you know how long Mabel has known Candy?
Now, that is a very good question. Honestly, as far back as I could remember, but who knows? As I've said, my sister does have a decent amount of friends, so I would not want to be rude, but I might be mixing people up, but if so, I do apologize.
Now, Pacifica, if you don't mind answering this question for Gideon, do you know his relationship with Mabel?
Not really. I believe they met once, but I'm not actually sure what their relationship is. Sorry.
No worries. Dipper, answer this question for Mabel. Do you know, Mabel, who is the person you love most besides Dipper and your family?
Oh, that's quite tricky, to be honest, right? Because, siblings, we have such a great bond. I couldn't imagine her liking anyone more than me, or just anyone else like that in town, so that's a hard one. I might have to ask her that.
I mean, yeah, that makes sense. Pacifica, what is your favorite video game?
I really like open world games that you can do a lot of adventuring in and a lot of exploration. I don't know if I have a favorite, but yeah, just a lot of exploration. Open world maps, lots of fun stuff.
Yeah, that's great. Now, we will close off with one more question. Dipper, how is your relationship with your Uncle Stanford?
Now, if I think about my family for a second, I know I'm quite close with my sister, obviously. I've mentioned her a lot, which I would have been like to mention myself a little bit more, but, you know, I am gracious. You know, I would never want to get into too much family specifics, you know. I would never want to air out any dirty laundry between family members or anything, so maybe that's just for everyone to see.
Right. Now, let's conclude this question and answers video. Directors, so I've heard there is a little bit of a thing called an ARG you're working on.
Oh god. The ARG exists. You guys still haven't solved it. I'm honestly surprised none of y'all bothered to go looking in places other than the ones we explicitly pointed out to you. It's an alternate reality event, so, you know, there is material out there. It's linked to us. We just have to go find it.
Well, I can awfully say that the directors are honestly disappointed in all of you. Try a little bit better. Maybe you'll find the answer you'll need.
Why ever would you say that?
Oh, well,
It's okay, player. You can do it.
We believe in you. Just look a little deeper.
I didn't spend months planning this thing for nobody to find it.
before we conclude this entire video, give them one hint at least.
Little scrap of something.
Tiniest little scrap. Right, I suppose I can do that. You've all seen the picture. You've all gone to the Discord. There are more places that are tied to us. Places where we give you information, where we give you videos, where we give you little nods and hints and tits and tats. Why are you only looking at one of them? That good enough?
Yes, that's good enough for the player. But, unfortunately, this is where we must conclude. Now, everyone please say your goodbyes as we sign off.
Well, it's been fun. Join again sometime soon.
Can't wait to hear all your guys' voices. See you next time.
It's been really fun. Hope I did a good job. Thanks for watching.
I had a blast. I hope anyone watching this had a great time too. Thank you guys so much.
Toodles all. Please do send in more questions, applications, and whatever else you might have or desire or want to do. We're here, listening.
Now, thank you for everyone for watching. This was the Xbox Fridge, signing out. Stay tuned for more updates for the game. And finish the ARG, please. They have been working too hard on it. Alright. Goodbye, everyone.
We need artists!